What's new from Apple? There's the new iPhone 16 Pro, built for Apple Intelligence. And it comes with the all-new camera control, giving you an easier way to quickly access your camera tools. The new Apple Watch Series 10 has our biggest display and our thinnest design ever. And this? It's the sound of active noise cancellation, now available on one of 2 new AirPods 4 models. So quiet. Check out all of the new products and new features at apple.com. You can even buy yourself something new. See apple.com for product availability updates. Apple Intelligence coming this fall.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase? List it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion.
We get it. Distractions happen. That's why we designed the fully electric, full-sized Volvo EX90 with the latest technology to keep you and those around you safe. Its 2-sensor driver understanding system is designed to prevent distractions and help you stay focused. Reserve your Volvo EX90 today. Learn more at volvocars.com/US.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by 2 really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to?
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heartbound, exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic, echographic, and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent of Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in the tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve!
From the world-famous Cardiff Electric Network studios in beautiful downtown Tukey City, it's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio, now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine provider, gives me street cred. The wacko alternative medicine assholes. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
My partner in all things, Tacie.
Hello.
And new to the studio, it's Raine, everyone.
Hello.
Gotta still think of a radio name for you.
Tacie goes by Tacie.
That's true. Well, she's no fun, but let's see. How about fog? I'd really good in fog.
Oh my Lord.
Precipitation of some sort. This is a show for people who never listen to a show on the radio or the internet. If you got a question you're embarrassed to take to a regular medical provider, or if you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call. 347-766-4323. That's 347-POOHEAD. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Weird Medicine, or Twitter at Dr. Scott WM, Dr. Scott WM. Visit our website at drsteve.com for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy. Most importantly, we're not your medical providers. Take everything here with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your healthcare provider. All right, very good. We're going to have a new affiliate agreement pretty soon. You can still go to stuff.drsteve.com and get the Rode automatic tuner and the Rode Coach, which I'm very thrilled with. Do you play any instruments, Raine?
No.
If I got you I've done this twice now. If I got you a Rode Coach, do you have a guitar?
I own a guitar, yes.
But you don't know how to play it?
I know a few chords.
Okay. If I get you a Rode Coach, will you do the program and then come back and show us that you actually learned something?
Maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Should I just say yes? I love free stuff.
I mean, I can get you what this thing is you clamp it very traumatically to your guitar, so it can listen to what you're doing. And it can listen to you sing, too, if you want to. But you don't have to. You don't have to do the singing thing. But it will, and it can tell you if you're on pitch or not.
No.
But it will, with the app and your guitar and this thing listening to what you're playing, it will help you get your rhythm and get your chords and teach you songs and teach you how to play your instrument. And it's very inexpensive. And you can go to Roadie, ROADIE.drsteve.com or just go to stuff.drsteve.com. You can see the tuner. And I'll put up a video of the coach if I get you one and you come back, because you're going to be coming back like every 3 or 4 weeks, I guess.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, you're on rotation. Okay, I'll get you one. Check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. We'll talk about it in a minute. Patreon.com/weirdmedicine. Put up a bunch of stuff about the eclipse. We're going to talk about that in a minute, and some other things. All the normal world content will eventually go on there before it goes anywhere else on my channel. And then if you want me to say, fluid to your mama, I did a couple of these on during Eclipse Day. I did some cameos from the site of the eclipse in Dallas, Texas. Cameo.com/weirdmedicine. That's fun, and they're cheap. All right?
All right.
Perfect.
I've got to adjust my camera because our new media person is going to curse at me for having poor framing.
Ooh.
We have A. Hines Media. It's AHYNES Media. And what he's doing is taking clips from the show and then putting them on Instagram because I'm too stupid to do it myself. And, it's funny. But check that out. Check out our Instagram at Weird Medicine, and Andy's doing some cool stuff there.
Cool.
And then we got some YouTube shorts and stuff. So check out our YouTube channel at Weird Medicine. Kind of a pattern there. But I was in Dallas for the eclipse.
Oh yeah.
And with Dave Landau in Normal World, and we did this sort of one-off, just goofy video where we're all looking with our glasses, with our eclipse glasses, and Dave is like, I just have my hand, I'll be fine. And I'm like, I looked over at him, I went, yeah, you'll be all right, because I wanted to look at the sun. I wasn't even paying attention to him. And then it sort of fades out and then comes back, and he says, oh, that was cool. And he turns around, and his eyes are just bleeding, and he's completely blind. And Bryce and I are still looking at the sun. They're showing we're completely ignoring him while he just stumbles around.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. Yeah. 136,000 views on that.
How do we miss that, Raine?
On Instagram. Well, you don't follow me on Instagram.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, that's why.
But anyway, it was fun.
Cool.
And what you can't hear, my best line is he'll be all right. Because, of course, we have to watch the eclipse, right? But if you go, I have eclipse videos and photographs that I took with my telescope. You can see a really cool sunspot with an umbra and penumbra there, which is kind of a misnomer because they're not really shadows, but they look like them. But you can see structure in the sunspot. I shipped my telescope to Dallas, and then I put a solar filter on it, and it was tracking the sun the whole time. And I did kind of, science time with all of the staff of Normal World, and there were a couple of celebrities there and stuff. It was fun. Yeah, I got to be the science guy. I didn't have to talk about medicine. I just got to talk about celestial mechanics for 5 minutes.
Did you actually see the... Because we didn't see it here.
Oh, my God, did we?
No, we didn't see
well,
it.
you really don't follow anything that I do you? It's fine. No. It's fine. No, I'll show you the pictures later. They're incredible.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I've got the pictures of the moon eclipsing the sun, and then I took my 35-millimeter camera and I bracketed, and I got pictures of the total eclipse. And I'm going to put those into Photoshop and see if I can take the underexposed ones and the hyperexposed ones and, stack them together to get some more detail out of it.
Do you know anything about celestial mechanics,
Sure.
or were you just riffing?
No, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
Okay,
Keplerian orbital elements and stuff, of course.
Would you like to tell the story of You'll Be All Right from the England hotel?
I have told that story on the show before. But let's save that for another time. But it's a Well, it's fine. I mean, Tacie wants to humiliate me, but I'm not humiliated by it because when you're under stress, you find out what kind of person you really are. And
Steve said, you'll be all right.
I'm a piece of shit. Okay, so we're on our honeymoon.
Oh, no.
We're on our honeymoon, and every night at 1 a.m, the fire alarm would go off. And you'd hear, "Breep, breep," and then the TV would come on and it would go, fire, fire, fire.
No.
So we'd have to go outside. And all of us at the Thistle Victoria Hotel were standing outside in the middle of the road. And this bus comes by, and he's like honking at us and pointing, like, "Get out of the road!" And this was funny. One of the guys that was there just banged on the side of the bus. It's a bloody fire, you tart. I can't do a British accent, but anyway, it was pretty funny. It's a bloody fire, you tart, and that stuck in my mind. Well, the fourth night of this, it goes off at 1 a.m.
Oh, no.
And we're like, they made us go down the stairs. And so we're going down the stairs. And this time I smell smoke and I see smoke.
Oh, no.
And it's like, oh, shit, this place is. So we start hauling off down the stairs. Well, it's this poor little old lady, little frail lady. And she kind of stumbles and she's like hanging on the banister, like, oh. And we went running by. Yes, we went running by and went, you'll be all right. What a piece of shit.
Just remember, duck and just roll when you hit.
Now, listen, that's stuck in my head. If I'm ever presented with something, it turned out to be nothing. It was somebody was smoking. But if that happens again, I will not behave that way again. Listen, it's been 22 years for me thinking about this. That really pissed me off that I behaved like that.
Oh, my God. It's been 22 years since y'all got married.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. 2001.
Ooh, Tace. You're
23 years.
It's been a long road.
Yeah, it's enough. It's long enough. Anyway, but so anyway,
that's cool.
So there you go. I'm not humiliated by it. It was a real moment, and I was a piece of shit, and I've changed my ways.
But it all turned out well.
Well, I'm a different person than I was then, and I said that surprised me.
Well, you were young and immature at that time.
I was, but I always thought that I'd be, I wouldn't
a
be
hero.
A hero. Yeah.
Well, we had terrible weather here, man. All we saw was clouds and rain.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful.
I mean, literally. It kind of got dark, but
that's it.
That was it, yeah.
And not really that dark.
No.
It's funny you bring that up. I guarantee you that's why I said that during that skit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when
I know.
Dave was walking,
is why you said that.
Oh, you'll be all right. It was stuck in my head. Yeah. And I just looked at the eclipse and stuff. And somebody said, well, nobody says anything about the guy looking at the eclipse with fucking binoculars because that was the shot, was one of the guys had binoculars. But they were solar binoculars, but it's funnier to think that they were just, burning all their eyes out. But anyway, so that was fun. Check out the eclipse stuff on our Instagram at Weird Medicine. Check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. That's simplyherbals.net. And he's got the CBD nasal spray. Raine will be processing the orders, I guess,
I package all
Are you
of
the
those.
one?
So if you're the person that I sent your order to a different country, my bad. I'll apologize for that.
Did that
now.
actually happen?
I've sent many orders to the wrong address, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the best ever was we had one.
Well, Raine isn't here because she's a genius.
No. We had one from Hawaii and one from Boston, and she flipped them. I'm like, and are you going to pay the cost of those?
No, I'm good customer service. I'm sending out emails like, just keep it, girly. Send in the right one now.
Good, yep.
Do you need some swag, by the way? Because
we'll take some swag.
I always need swag.
We send out swag with that stuff. So okay,
yeah, thank you guys.
I wonder what the people who order from your website who are not Weird Medicine people think when you're sending them all this stupid Weird Medicine shit.
We will only send you swag if you leave a note.
If you ask for it.
Oh, that says, okay.
Yeah, because we don't want somebody to go away like,
oh, okay, so you're not putting it in with every order.
Right, Who these crazy fools?
Okay, okay, smart. Okay, very good. All right. Those are my topics, I think. That's it for today. Let's do Tacie's time of topics. Hang on. And then we have a special thing we're going to do.
It's Tacie's time of topics. A time for Tacie to discuss topics of the day. Not to be confused with Topic Time with Harrison Young, which is copyrighted by Harrison Young and Area 58 Public Access. And now, here's Tacie.
Well, hello.
Hello.
I have one very quick story.
Okay, sounds
sent
good.
to me by Scott. And it's how researchers find that superpowers are real. They're just not what we expect. And scientists have found that evolutionary adaptation and mental conditioning in humans may be the closest humans will come to what we consider superpowers. And it gives two really
Until
cool
we augment our genetics somehow.
examples. So the first one, hold on.
No.
Oh, these are good. These are good. It's worth the wait. It's worth the wait.
Okay. Let's see. What are the
fucking idiot.
That wasn't the one I meant to.
You get nothing.
Like the Sherpa people in the Himalayas.
Okay.
To the Baju Sea nomads. So, the Tibetan tribe's resilience. Okay, they found out that. Oh, crap. We should start this over. That their ability to withstand low oxygen levels, like they can maintain low levels of red blood cells relying on cells' mitochondria to process oxygen in a way that doesn't require as much power or energy.
Interesting. Who are these? That's the Sherpas?
That's the Sherpa people.
In the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Now, do they have high levels of red blood cells or low? I would think that they would have high.
I think they've made higher.
When an average person experiences a drop in oxygen as they climb in altitude, the human body tends to overcompensate by producing more oxygen-carrying red blood cells.
I see. So they do it without doing that.
So overproducing red blood cells leads the blood to thicken
Correct.
and can potentially cause altitude sickness or death.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sherpa's ability to produce fewer red blood cells isn't impacted by their external environment.
Wow.
And their bodies can produce less no matter what altitude they're at.
That's
crazy
adaptation.
Yeah, those dudes are living at 10, 12, 14,000 feet.
Crazy.
Living there.
Yeah. I
Shit.
went there once and about killed me.
I at 9,000, we were in Breckenridge. I spoke at a conference there, and I was like, God, I was about to die for 3 days.
Yeah,
9,000 feet.
I was at Snowbird at the top. I think is 11,000 feet, maybe if I remember correctly. And I've told this story too. I mean, I think I've told every story. I mean, after 20 years of doing this, well, how many stories do I have left? But I went up there with this little snow bunny, and she's like, "Well, I don't really know how to ski, and will you go up with me?" And she was at the same conference. We were at a it doesn't matter. We were at a conference together. And so we get up to the top of this, and I see it's double black diamond. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Ski rack one.
And I'm like, I'm going to be in trouble. She's really going to be in trouble. She went, okay, see it at the bottom. She's lying little piece of shit. I get up. I'm about waist high in powder. Now, I grew up skiing in Michigan.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of powder like that. And I wasn't used to it. And so I got up to there, and I couldn't move. And I couldn't get my skis up, and I couldn't breathe. And I said, I'm just going to die here.
Oh, jeez.
So obviously I didn't in this universe. There may be a universe where I actually died at the top of that hill, but I, eventually unhooked my skis, rolled over onto the snow so that my surface area was a little bit larger so that I could lay on it. And then I reached down and grabbed my skis because I had rented them and I didn't want to pay for them, and just sort of slid down the hill till I got to a place where I could start skiing on my own. That was awful. So, yeah, it's bad.
I heard about these monks that can change their breathing to melt snow. Mm-hmm. So if they were trapped in an avalanche, they could just breathe a certain way and just melt the snow around them.
I'd like to
make
see
sense?
some evidence of that. So what they would have to be doing is increasing the chemical energy in their body to increase their core temperature. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see documentation of that.
I think I know what she's talking about, because I think I've seen the same things. They'll actually take those monks while they're meditating and lay frozen towels over them.
Oh, I see.
And they literally sit there and breathe until those towels just literally start to kind of steam and they melt.
Yeah, and I saw
I'm
photos.
not saying it was science. I'm not saying it's scientific,
No.
but I'm saying
I think that would happen. I think their superpower there is not being super hot, but rather being able to sit there with a frozen towel
your body
until it melts.
over,
But I've seen photos where they will sit on the snow, and then after so much time, like a circle will melt around them.
This one I doubt, but I have an open mind. I'm willing to be convinced that I'm wrong, but that sounds like hooty-hoo.
It sounds like a semi-superpower.
Maybe just good Photoshop.
Yeah, maybe. That sounds awesome, though.
Yep.
One other ethnic group.
I have a superpower. I can put everybody to sleep just by talking.
The Baja. Is that how you told me to say it?
I don't know. Baja or something.
Bajau, people of the Philippines, Malaysia. They can notably dive deep into the ocean for longer periods than most humans with no scuba gear necessary.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They can stay underwater for 13 minutes diving to depths up to 230 feet.
It's crazy. Now, this
13 minutes.
This is the mammalian diving reflex. All mammals have this, but only really whales and dolphins use it and manatees use it on a regular basis.
They have larger spleens, which can restore
damn right they do.
A reserve of oxygenated red blood cells that can be injected into the bloodstream when the organ contracts as the person dives.
Wow, I think I do good, but 2 minutes holding my breath. 13 minutes, can you imagine?
God, I can't even. Well, it's not even just the depth, but the time, but you going that deep, knowing that you've got to get back up, and you can only go so fast till you get to bends.
Right.
So it's not like you can scramble up super fast and then die on your way up.
Well, they get the bends if you're breathing nitrogenated or oxygen, right? If you're scuba diving, if you're just holding your breath and you come back up, well, you still get the bends?
I don't know, Steve. That's a good question.
I think you still have to take breaks. If it's just you, no oxygen, I think you still have to acclimate.
I think.
Deepest dive by a human is 1,752 feet.
What?
Achieved by Comex Hydra 8 dives. Oh, wait a minute. I want to know deepest dive by a human without
unassisted. Yeah, unassisted.
Without oxygen. Yeah, okay. Hang on. That was stupid. Okay, this is what I thought it was. French freediver Arnaud Giral holds the world record for deepest dive without oxygen, reaching 400 feet. Took 3 minutes and 34 seconds. And, wow. Okay. Diving to such great depths without scuba gear is incredibly dangerous, requires years of training and experience. Now, I'm going to try it today. But anyway.
There's one more.
That's amazing.
One more.
One more superhero
Yep.
power. And this is from rock climber Alex Honnold, who has famously undergone some of the most dangerous free solo of America's biggest cliffs. They did an MRI scan on him, and it indicated that his brain may process fear differently than the average person, as he was shown graphic images used to trigger amygdala, a structure in the temporal lobe responsible
Scott to
for
repeat what he just tried to say.
producing reactions to fear. Honnold's amygdala didn't respond; it was notably silent.
Wow!
Did you see the movie with him where he climbs those rocks?
No.
You got to watch it.
That's good.
It's
heard
the most ridiculous.
I'm not watching
it.
that.
It's crazy.
No, it is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I'm not watching it. I just watched a guy free climb something, and he's just doom, 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 like.
There's a guy that does it on skyscrapers in big cities.
Yeah.
So you'll just be at work, you're on the 80th floor, and then you look at the window, and there's just some guy just barehanding his way up the side of the building.
Carl Wallenda was well trained. And, expired doing that. And some tragedy is going to happen. I wonder if it doesn't happen.
Most of them die like that. All of the free solo. And there's also slacklining, high lining, where you just tie a rope over a canyon.
Right.
And people will do that.
Or between two buildings.
Yeah, and people will do that with no support. And a lot of them die like that.
Wow.
Nope. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I'm just going. But the truth, in the movie, they actually show the scan of the guy's head, and his amygdala is
really
almost non-existent. Literally he doesn't have one.
Yeah, okay.
So he doesn't have any fear. So when we're sitting there watching him climb a rock, going, "What the hell?"
He's like,
Tuesday. Doesn't even. Just keeps on trucking.
That's
bizarre.
okay. That's really interesting. I wonder what he was like as a kid. I bet he drove his parents crazy.
Oh, you know he was a hellion.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Yes.
Now, I want to just talk about the free diving again because I found something. It says the body goes through several changes when free diving. The heartbeat slows by 25%, and experienced divers can reduce their heart rate to more than 50%. To cope with the pressure, the body allows vital organs to keep functioning properly by moving blood to the most important parts. This is known as peripheral vasoconstriction. People who listen to this show for a long time know about that. And it's fascinating. So we were talking about mammalian diving reflex. It's like, why do we have that? Whales do this when they dive down. That's how they can hold their breath for hours sometimes, I guess. As they go down, their heart rate slows and their metabolism slows, and they're able to function, but at a very low metabolic rate, so they don't have to get that oxygen back into their system. We have that. I have used the mammalian diving reflex in the hospital in the 80s before we had adenosine and other drugs. We would have people with a thing called supraventricular tachycardia, and these are people with really fast heartbeats that are caused from the top part of the heart. Okay. And we would, try different drugs and stuff like that. Well, one of the things that you can do is you take a big tub of ice water and you tell the person, you got to give them informed consent. Sure. And then you shove their face in the ice water and you hold it there as long as they can stand it. And when they come back up, their heart goes ding, 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 and then it goes ding, and then it stops and then it starts beating normally again. It's crazy. But that's the mammalian diving reflex that's doing that. It's putting a tonic influence on the node of the heart that just says slow down because we're diving.
And stimulates
Why do we
vagus.
have that?
I guess it stimulates the vagus. I guess what I want to assume, yes.
There's so many things that go on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
During the diving. But why do we have that? It means to me that this is that we at one point emerged from the ocean.
Had to have had something. Had to have
Why
something
would
like
we?
that.
Or either that, or mammals are just made this way, and it just is by
So
chance
happens.
that whales and dolphins could use it for that, and manatees. But anyway, it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
You got any other superpowers, Tace? Those are
Nope.
good. Okay, I'm going to give you a bell.
Give thyself a bell.
I'll share that bell with you, Scott, since you
A team bell.
Very good.
sent it
All
to us.
right.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
All right. So this is a suggestion that I concur with, if I can get it to actually play. So while I'm temporizing, how is everyone today? Jeez, come on. Okay. There we
Hey, Dr. Steve, Dr. Scott, Tacie,
Hey, buddy.
you guys. Just another suggestion.
Yeah.
I know you just have a world of information about all kinds of things, and
Okay, so what you do when you want something from someone is first say something positive.
Yes.
So this is empathy and validation. It works every time. So I am attuned to, he said something nice. So whatever he says, I'm going to do. Okay.
get on a topic, just like most people, you tend to digress and talk for a while. But I was wondering, there's a sports show on ESPN where the broadcasters are held to 2 minutes per topic. Now, I could just see Tacie being the great timekeeper and cutting you off. But,
No shit.
Just try it for a couple shows.
Okay, set a timer, Tace, on your phone.
Okay.
I think our topics need to be 3 minutes. Okay?
Shit.
And see how many questions you can get answered.
I'm with you, buddy. No, you're right. We need to do, so we're going to do speed round. And
3 minutes?
Yeah, we'll do 3 minutes.
Start.
All right.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those like lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase? List it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion.
We get it. Distractions happen. That's why we designed the fully electric, full-sized Volvo EX90 with the latest technology to keep you and those around you safe. Its two-sensor driver understanding system is designed to prevent distractions and help you stay focused. Reserve your Volvo EX90 today. Learn more at volvocars.com/US.
Earning your degree online doesn't mean you have to go about it alone. At Capella University, we're here to support you when you're ready. From enrollment counselors who get to know you and your goals, to academic coaches who can help you form a plan to stay on track. We care about your success and are dedicated to helping you pursue your goals. Going back to school is a big step, but having support at every step of your academic journey can make a big difference. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Here we go.
Hey, Dr. Steve. My father...
Wait, it shouldn't count the question, though.
No.
I mean,
count
come
the answer.
on.
Count the answer.
Especially if we can't hear it.
Yeah, start it at the beginning. I mean,
I don't even know how to do that.
You gotta.
Okay, Raine will show you.
That's why we have a 20-year.
Okay, and then I'm going to...
I want a timer in our clinic, Scott, because sometimes you ramble.
I know. You are correct.
All right, we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we
Dr.
go.
Steve, my father is getting up there in the years. He runs a building. He's got to keep his head in his job. But I noticed that his memory's starting to slip. Is there anything that you or maybe Dr. Scott could recommend? Some crazy medicines or tinctures or powders or potions or some kind of voodoo. Yeah, all this unproven, the Prevagen, all the stuff on the market that, I don't know. I don't want to turn to something. I trust your opinion. Thanks.
Yeah, okay. Start the time.
Start it.
Tacie.
Okay.
Talk about memory loss.
Yeah, well, first of all, memory loss can come from about 1,000 different things.
There you go. Correct.
Work it up first.
Correct.
Make sure there's nothing really
Give thyself a
crazy
bell.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are tests that can be done.
Sure.
Some of them are very simple, where they just ask questions and he answers them, and then they score them, and they can see if it's the onset of dementia, or is it depression, is it anxiety? Anxiety causes short-term memory loss because the intrusive thoughts will knock out, your short-term memory. If you're trying to remember where your keys were and you're thinking about somebody tried to break in your house last night and you're anxious, it's very easy for that scratch pad memory to be erased. So sometimes these things are benign. If you want to try a tincture while you're waiting, I'm a big fan of lion's mane for stuff like this. The other lion's mane mushrooms are pretty decent for cognition. There's some data on these. If you email me, I can send you some of the clinical studies and cordyceps mushrooms as well.
Yep.
And so I'm a big fan of kind of the fungal stuff. It's closer to our physiology than, say, plants and bacteria and stuff. So
I like the taurines. I like the phosphatidylserine. Phosphatidylserine.
Yeah, phosphatidylserine. You and I both take that.
Been proven to work. And
you got to define what work means.
Okay, yeah.
Some of them improve executive function. That may not be this problem's.
Bottom line is make sure you're healthy.
Yep. Okay. All right. How'd we do, Tacie?
We did good.
1 minute, 25 seconds left.
Okay.
Oh, hell, we can
reset the clock.
Yeah, we can wax more eloquent on this.
Okay.
I was talking too fast.
So, we staying with the 3 minutes?
Yeah, let's do 3. We need some things take a little bit longer. Okay, let's try this one. Oops.
I'm calling because I have a question about intermittent fasting. I know you're not a nutritionist. You said that before.
Yeah.
But my friends talk about it all the time. They do it. I always give them shit because I just call it starvation. Because you don't eat for periods of time, and then you do eat, but you don't really eat a lot. So obviously it's going to work because you're not eating anything. And I'm just curious if that's just an ignorant point of view, like intermittent fasting, starving yourself. I understand it's not a total starvation, but I just wanted to get your take on it if you had one. Thanks, Dr. Steve, for everything.
Hey,
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. All right. I'll start out on this.
Okay.
Intermittent fasting. The theory behind it is that when you go a certain number of hours without food, people will go 16 and 8. They'll fast for 16 hours. Of course, you're sleeping hopefully 8 hours of that. So, you only have to add another 4 and 4, 4 at the beginning, 4 at the end, and you've got your 16. The body exhausts its stores of free sugars and starts burning fat, and it's called metabolic switching. So that's really what the hypothesis is. Now, there have been lots of benefits. Some, because you're somewhat ketotic, it can improve your thinking and memory because ketosis has been shown to improve that. If you've got a high insulin level and you're gloggy, you just don't feel very bright and smart. There has been some data showing that young men who fast for 16 hours maintained muscle mass while losing fat. And mice who were fed on alternate days, this is a mouse study, had better endurance. But there are some downsides as well. Children should not be doing this. People who are pregnant or breastfeeding need a constant supply of calories. People with type 1 diabetes who take insulin, there's just not any studies done in those. Type 2, yes. Type 1, no. And if you have a history of eating disorder, going on a quote-unquote diet is really kind of the worst thing that you can do. There may be some other effects as well, anxiety, headaches, thyroid issues, and stuff like that. So be careful. Got anything else to say?
And I would
about
think, too, if someone suffers from hypoglycemia or they have trouble balancing their sugars out, they can really struggle with. And, the other thing is intermittent fasting is like any other diet we've seen, Dr. Steve. Sometimes it's dieting daily, just not 16 hours. Sometimes it's eating normally for 5 days a week and then dieting 2 days a week. It's the 5-2 method or whatever they call it. So, there's 100 different things, and if you're going to try it, I'd say make sure, first of all, you're healthy.
If there were one way to do
that we knew
this correctly, we would already know it. Raine, you got anything to add to this?
Yeah, I've got 2 things. One, isn't it worse
she's
for
exempt
women?
from the 3-minute clock.
Well, we got 30 seconds.
Okay,
we can try.
quick. Okay, do it.
Is fasting worse for women than for men? I feel like I've heard that.
Well, define worse.
Like women shouldn't do it as much.
If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't do it. In my opinion, just because you don't know how it's going to affect the fetus or your production of milk. But other than that, I'm not aware of any real gender differentiation with intermittent fasting. I can find out, though.
Would love that. My second thing is I also heard that when you fast for a long time, you end up killing your microbiome.
That's the downside that I read recently, and it definitely alters. Okay, well, she asked a question, so that's a new question.
I got it right at the
new
buzzer.
3 minutes.
It's it will alter your microbiome. I think it still remains to be seen whether that's positive, negative, or neutral. The study I saw showed that it definitely changes it, but it didn't really say whether it was good or bad.
Interesting.
And that research is still ongoing. You know, the whole mind-gut thing. We know it's real. I drink kombucha every day, and I swear it helps me, but it's an N of 1. You know, it's not a good clinical trial. But it does alter the microbiome. Remains to be seen whether that's a good or bad thing, or if it means nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah, excellent question.
Good question.
Well, you know,
Lucky.
Give thyself a
Oh, hell no.
I got a bell.
Not the first day. No.
Well, Scott gets something too.
Get your hand off my penis!
Okie doke. All right. Let's see. Let's get rid of those questions and let's try this one. This one for Dr. Scott, I think.
Sorry, my earbuds keep messing up, I guess.
That's okay, buddy.
I've had this incredible leg pain from my knees up for the last almost 2 weeks. It seems to come and go, but the only thing that seems to make it feel any better is incredible amounts of water. I don't think I'm dehydrated because I'm drinking so much water now to keep it away. But it's just huge knee and thigh pain. It sucks.
Sorry, man.
Why?
Okay, I have some ideas, but go ahead. You start the clock, Tacie.
Yeah.
Go, Scott.
Well, that's a pretty weird question.
So it's
both legs. So
thighs.
it's bilaterally. It's both quads and his knees.
Right.
So he could have arthritis in his knees causing it. He could have some he could be dehydrated, but if he's drinking so much water, he could wind up getting hypokalemia. You know, if he drank that much,
right, low potassium,
be too sick. But you know, if it depends really. My next question would be: is it worse when he's sitting or standing?
Right.
So is his quad or his thigh muscles firing? If they're not getting enough oxygen to them.
Right.
So that could be one of the things. Or it could have like a big disc, like you had. You know, you can have a central stenosis in your lumbar spine. That thing slides forward, pinches the nerves in your
stenosis, meaning narrowing and it's pinching on the nerve roots.
Yep.
There is a thing called neuralgia paresthetica, and what this is a nerve impingement syndrome that causes severe pain, burning, numbness, and tingling, and down the lateral, in other words, the outside part of the thigh. So that would be the first thing I would ask him is, where is it? You know, when you have pain, you always ask onset, you know, how did it start?
Yep.
What's it like? Is it sharp, dull, burning, stabbing? You know, if they need a paragraph to explain the pain, it's probably nerve pain, you know, because if it's something else, you go, it hurts right here and it hurts like somebody's stabbing.
And it's got a bruise.
Yeah. And then what makes it better? He said water. Yeah. What makes it worse? And then, you know, are there any other factors involved in that? So.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I would get that checked. The fact that it's both sides tells me that it's probably something metabolic. But if he is a bigger dude and wearing his old skinny clothes, those are the people that get neuralgia paresthetica, or people that are wearing tool belts.
Yeah, the contractors out there carrying those big heavy hammers. Yep.
It's also known as lateral femoral cutaneous nerve entrapment syndrome. But that's anyway, it's just
he could have a great big belly pinching on some. Pinching on some nerves and some blood vessels. And
it hurts like an MF or two.
Yeah, and if he wants to call back in and give us a little more specific.
Yeah, or
we'd
go
be happy.
go see his primary
care.
care.
Yeah, do that first.
All right.
Are we done?
Yep.
39 seconds.
All right. All right.
Roll.
Here's one for Tace.
Uh-oh.
I don't like it.
Hi, in Spokane, Washington, it's Jethro.
Hey, Jethro.
What is everything you need to know about vagina health? All right, catch you on the flip side. Bye.
There you go. Okay, Tace, go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go what? All right.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know.
So I can say a couple of things. You starting the timer?
Yeah, I already started it. I've heard it's self-cleaning. I don't believe that.
I also heard that. I heard as long as nothing crazy's going on, leave it alone.
Yep, exactly
if it ain't
right.
broke, don't fix it.
And if it don't stank, don't put things in there other than things that
there's got to be a rhyme, but I don't know what it is.
But douches and all that kind of stuff unnecessary. What you don't want to do is have intercourse with your tampon in because you're on your period and push the tampon in, which is fine. That part's fine. But then forget that it's there and leave it there for 2 to 4 weeks, and then go to your primary care saying that I've got this weird odor down there. And when you pull that thing out, it's gray and covered in, I can't even describe it, and sort of this grayish slime that is just unbelievable. And it's all anaerobic bacteria that love just growing on there. And it puts you at risk for toxic shock too. So please don't do that. Ladies, if you're going to have intercourse on your period, I mean, who doesn't like ketchup on their French fries? I get it. That's totally fine. But remember to take it back out.
Right.
Please.
Right.
Okay. So that's one of the big ones. Now, if you have bacterial vaginosis, that's caused by a bacteria called Gardnerella. I've said this before. One of the bits of evidence that our Creator has a sense of humor is that the bacteria that makes the vagina healthy is the same bacteria that makes yogurt, lactobacillus.
Yep.
So there are people who will advocate putting plain yogurt in the vagina if it has bacterial vaginosis. That's the fishy odor with a clear discharge. If the discharge got any color to it, you got to go see your OBGYN. But if you've had this before and you know that's what it is, you can use yogurt to just repopulate the vagina with lactobacillus. Make sure it's cultured yogurt and it says live cultures on it. I have a funny feeling, and I'm not sure, that if you go to this chicken place that's very popular all over the country, and they have yogurt there, I can't imagine theirs actually has a live culture in it. So don't use that.
No.
It has strawberries in it too, so don't do that. Unless you're just, doing it for fun.
Chicken place.
Yes, the chicken place that sells yogurt that's extremely popular, that when you drive through, you have to wait, 20 minutes because they're just printing money in there because it's always packed. Yeah, well, I was just bullshitting at that point. Thank you. All right. We'll move on, though. Let's see. How about one on messed up surgery?
Oh.
Hey, Dr. Steve, this is Rob. You just replied to my email. Just wanted to chat and see if you wanted to discuss what happened to me, on your podcast or just personally or whatever.
Sure, well, tell us what it was.
My cirrhosis and then infection and then the wrong size implant put in me. So now I'm going to have a fourth surgery, which people are telling me not to because I risk getting another infection.
Well, okay, let's talk about that part. So this person, it sounds like an orthopedic implant.
Okay.
And it got infected, and they had to take it out, and they put the wrong size in. Post-op infections usually are not actionable. Putting the wrong thing in sometimes can be. So I'm going to let him deal with that. But if the infection is completely cleared, and that's very difficult to clear an infection in the bone, it can be done. The reason is they don't have good blood supply. They're bone. You look at a bone, there is blood in there, but it's very hard to get antibiotics into an area that's basically solid
right.
and cut off from the blood supply on purpose. So it can take 6 to 12 weeks sometimes, but if they really feel like they got it under control, the risk of having another implant. The risk of infection with having another implant is the same as the first one. So if it was 1 in 1,000, it'll be 1 in 1,000 the second time.
It may even be a little slightly less just because you had that, and they're going to be super duper cautious.
Right?
Possibly.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. Again, if you know you're at risk for something, you're less likely to have it happen to you. A good example, I was talking on El Horrible's show today about people who get colonoscopies every year. We have a friend who gets a colonoscopy every year because they have familial polyposis.
Okay.
And they were like, why would you get a colonoscopy every year? Well, because he's at extremely high risk of colon cancer.
Gotcha.
But he's at very low risk of dying from it because he gets his colonoscopy every year.
Right on.
They're going to catch it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
1 minute, 9 seconds left.
Okay. Well, so talk to them. I think that if it is affecting your lifestyle, the risk of having it, as long as they've cleared the infection, is the same as anybody else. And it might be worth it.
And with the new surgical techniques, if we're talking about a total joint, let's just say that maybe that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's new technologies, there's new ways to make these new caps. Like say if it's total knee or total hip, it might wind up being a whole lot better than last time.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. The newer
Hope
surgeons
so.
are pretty
Good luck. Let us know how it goes.
Yep.
All right.
30 seconds. Yes.
Here we go.
Hey, Dr. Steve and crew.
Hey, man.
Long time, first time.
Hey, thanks.
I was listening to one of the shows recently, and you brought up that you are suffering or have suffered from polymyalgia rheumatica.
This is correct. So back in the day, I started having muscle pain. This is part of the question still, Tace. Don't start the thing yet. No, this is part of, now, fuck off. This is part of the question. I'm just explaining what he's talking about. I had proximal, in other words, pain close to the midline. So in my shoulders and in my hips, started just having muscle pain. And they checked my blood work and had elevated enzyme level called CPK that's secreted when muscle cells die. And I had a mildly elevated erythrocyte sedimentation rate, which was indicative of inflammation in my body. Everything else completely normal. So the way that you test for this is you put the person on a very low dose steroid, like prednisone, 5 milligrams. If it goes away, then you've kind of made the diagnosis. So that's what that is. And I had that. And then I went off the prednisone after about 6 months, and I just wore it out, and it went away. Well, shit, it's come back. So this is one of those things that just sort of, for me, apparently is waxing and waning. The thing is, normally little old ladies get this. So I am an elderly woman and when it comes to my disease processes. But anyway, okay, so we're going to get back to the question.
And my father was recently diagnosed with that.
Okay.
And he's come a long way in terms of pain and having to deal with it. But I'm sure like any polymyalgia rheumatica sufferer, he has flare-ups from time to time.
Yep.
And he also has what Dan Patrick called a brain fog.
Okay.
And I just wanted to know how you deal with that on a day-to-day basis and kind of a better idea or a better understanding of how that works on the body and what someone can do for flare-ups.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. You ready? So I have some personal knowledge of this. I had a professor in medical school. He had an IQ of 220. I mean, it was the highest IQ of anybody I've ever heard of or seen except for Marilyn Vos Savant. And when he got dementia and he couldn't name things anymore, he was still a genius. Because he went from 220 down to 160 or something. Right. So, he called a deck of cards a concentric stack of thin laminates because he couldn't think of the word deck of cards. I mean, it's crazy. So, for me, my brain fog, I've got an IQ of 165. It takes me down to 130. I'm still pretty good. So, but what I've found helps the best for me is getting regular exercise, which I don't do enough, but I do try to walk, and I feel more alert and oriented and not sleeping too long, but getting enough sleep. And then, again, the lion's mane has helped me. Cordyceps helps. Always check. If you're going to take a supplement, talk to your doctor and those things. And then when he has a flare-up of the myalgias, which just means pain in the muscle, he needs to get back on the low-dose prednisone for a short period of time.
Well, but there are other options to steroids.
That's okay. In allopathic medicine, the treatment that we use is prednisone. if everything else fails. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say if everything else, but you don't want to continually have people on steroids if you don't have to. I mean, certainly there are times for that, but
hence the phrase for a short period of time.
But okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So turmeric or curcumin is another good, and it's been shown to work about as well as steroids do.
Okay.
As far as it's an anti-inflammatory, it works like an NSAID.
It is an NSAID.
Yeah. Well, but it works just like steroids without a lot of the side effects as far as affecting blood sugars.
And it has good good results in polymyalgia rheumatica.
And not only exercise, but sleep. Sleep hygiene is very important.
Yep.
And so if you're not getting sleep, that's going to give you a lot of aches and pains. And the other thing is just to remember, sometimes dietary changes. I mean, if you eat certain foods, they can cause inflammation.
Sure.
I mean, it can be anything from wheats to chicken to shrimp to whatever. So if maybe they ate more chicken or more shrimp or something like that. Has an
anti-inflammatory diet.
Yeah.
Do you ever recommend that?
Oh, God, every day.
Well, tell people what to take.
Yeah, anti-inflammatory diet is just a lot of times you don't even know you're allergic to something until you stop eating it. So it winds up being an elimination diet. So if people with headaches, people with chronic pain syndromes, a lot of times we'll start taking them off of foods. And believe it or not, one of the main things I take people off of is chicken. Chicken has big protein molecules that cause a lot of arthritis in people.
I wonder if organic chicken would be different than...
No.
You don't think it's just chicken?
It's a protein molecule.
Tom.
Damn it. I was going to say, it's just like shrimp and purines. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Turmeric can cause acid reflux, and it acts as a blood thinner, too. So you
yes,
got to make sure.
That is true.
I'm just going to say this, and this isn't part of the time. This is a general warning.
You are always saying this is not part of the time. Obviously, it is.
No, this is a general warning. Right. If you are on supplements, tell your doctor that you're on supplements.
Especially, and you don't want to take that before procedures, epidural or surgery, something like that. Yeah.
And lots of other things, too.
Yes,
so make sure that everybody knows. Okay, all right. We're all right, Tacie.
Well, there should be wiggle room in this.
No.
Dr. Steve, this is Phil from Tampa calling. I'm calling because hope you guys are doing well. I'm calling because I was in class tonight and my professor was talking about different genetic disorders, and one disease came up called Huntington's disease.
Oh yeah.
And he made it sound like the worst thing known. I mean, one of the worst diseases ever. To the point where he made the comment that if he knew someone who was pregnant and somehow knew that the child was predestined to have Huntington's disease, that he would recommend that the person get an abortion because disease would be so...
First off, for the YouTube algorithm, that's him saying that, not us.
That is not us.
I'm not expressing an opinion on that, but anyway.
I feel like you guys have talked about it on the show before,
we have, but
I was curious if you could talk a little bit about it. What causes it, and what are the symptoms, and what it does to the body. It just sounds terrifying to the point where I don't want to Google it. But
I tell people don't Google image stuff all the time or Google things all the time because you can just drive yourself crazy. I did a Ask Dr. Steve for Normal World, and the very first one was, what's the worst way to die? And I started off saying, don't Google image this. It's called Fournier gangrene. That if you Google image it, you will agree with me. It is the worst way to die. Medically, burning and drowning and stuff like that doesn't count. But let's talk. Do you want to talk about Huntington's disease, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
explain what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. It's chorea is basically a stereotypical kind of movement of the limbs, and so Huntington's chorea, the people start they get the weird motion disorders. So we have these circuits in the brain that are always firing, and then there are inhibitory circuits that stop those circuits from being translated into action, but they can disinhibit to activate certain movements. It's a weird way to make this work, but that's how our limbs work. Is these sort of circuits that are constantly firing these motor impulses, and then there's inhibitory impulses that stop them, but then disinhibit to allow certain movements to happen. And when you do that in a coordinated fashion, you can play the piano, you can do all kinds of stuff. Well, if those inhibition circuits turn off, then all of a sudden those underlying circuits start firing, that are turned into action, and you'll get these circular motions and things, and you get these weird body postures, behavioral changes there. You have difficulty communicating, mood swings, depression, memory lapse. Now, then they get problems swallowing and stuff. Woody Guthrie had this, and he's the one that I can kind of think of that had Huntington's chorea. The problem is it starts at about 30 to 50 years of age, so a lot of people have already had their children, and then they don't know, but they don't screen for it unless you had a family member with it. If you had a family member with Huntington's chorea, you do want to get screened to see if there's a chance that you can pass this down to your children. And then you may make a choice, to adopt or, not do that. But that's your choice. The reason we don't screen for it in the general public is, number one, it's rare, and number two, we can't treat it. And part of screening things is not just to find out stuff, but to find things that we can treat and prevent disease. That's why we do screening. And so, but if you've had it in your family, you need to get a genetic screening. It's very inexpensive. Your primary care provider can do that for you. And then if you're not carrying the gene, then just you can
carry on.
Go do your thing.
Yep, carry on.
All right? All right, Dr. Scott and crew, before we get out of here, let's go through the super chats, et cetera, et cetera. You can go to youtube.com/@weirdmedicine and join the Fluid family. And when you do that, make sure you turn on your gifted memberships, because gifted memberships will allow you to accept a gift of a membership, hence the name. And Corndiff joined the Fluid family. Thank you, sir. I need to have some sound effects for that. How about this one?
He's a fucking idiot.
No, Corny is not. And he's from Tennessee, and so we're going to try to do something together at some point. Corndiff gifted 50 Weird Medicine memberships. Holy moly. I don't have a sounder for that.
You see, your stupid minds.
No, don't call him stupid.
He's a fucking
No.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
No. There you go.
There we go.
How about that?
Give thyself a bell.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Corndiff. And you can see the stream elements are doling out at random. All of and it'll do it to people who aren't here, who have only just visited the channel.
Oh, wow.
So all of a sudden they're going to get an email saying Corndiff gifted you.
Oh my God.
That'll be funny.
Bizarre.
All right. And then Radish, not one to be outdone by Corndiff, gifted one Weird Medicine membership. Thank you. It's fine. We don't demand that you do any of this, but thank you.
We encourage.
And then Van Hammersley gifted 5 Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve memberships. Thank you, Van Hammersley. Delightful. All right. I see Old Top has a question. I donated blood the other day and felt better than normal after my vision was super clear and sharp for the rest of the day. What's up with that? That is a real phenomenon. Mm-hmm. People feel lighter on their feet. A lot of people will donate blood because they feel so good afterward. Mm-hmm. And I don't know the answer to that, if it's cortisol is released because the body thinks it's bleeding, and that's a stress hormone, or if it's just that you now are injecting new red blood cells into your from your bone marrow into the blood supply that can carry oxygen more efficiently. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I have experienced that myself.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah.
Maybe a little serotonin stimulated while you're giving it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but that's a real phenomenon.
Yeah.
You're not alone in that. All right.
Cool.
Scott, you had one?
Yeah, Longfellow was wanting to know, he's on an antibiotic for tooth infection. What else is being killed in my body besides the tooth infection? Well, some other things like your gut flora, possibly.
Yeah.
Just depends on what he's taking and how long he's taking.
So what's the actual question?
He said what else is being killed inside his body besides the infection? Because he's taking an
antibiotics. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
We see people who take antibiotics who will have a complete kill of their good flora in their gut. We'll have to give them probiotics, and we give them bacteria and yeast. which is why I like kombucha, because it's it is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, and it's a good probiotic. But these people will kill out all the good bacteria, and all they're left with is shit bacteria. And I mean, by shit bacteria, I don't mean those that make fecal matter. I mean, they're bad bacteria. And one of those is Clostridium difficile, or for some of the purist, Clostridium difficile. But it will cause a thing called pseudomembranous colitis, which causes voluminous diarrhea. And in the elderly infirm, if they get it, it can actually result in death. So it's a bad one. It has to be, unfortunately, treated with yet a different antibiotic. Oral vancomycin is the one that really works the best. Although you can take oral metronidazole as well, aka Flagyl, but then you've got to repopulate with good bacteria.
Okay, so if you take an antibiotic and then take a probiotic to try to counteract that, but then you have to take, I assume you don't just take one antibiotic. So is it the next time you're taking it, are you just killing?
Yes.
So what's the point of the probiotic?
I would take the probiotic after
you finish the course of biotics.
That's how I dope it out. In the head canon for me is that I'm doing it after.
And then what do you think about spore-based probiotics?
Yeah, no, that's fine. You're talking about like
mushroom spore probiotics.
Yeah, I mean we don't grow a whole lot of mushrooms in our gut.
Hopefully.
I'm bigger on yeast than I am on spores, but I have not. Listen, I'm a big fan of mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms. There's some really interesting properties, and obviously, the mushrooms have some interaction with our nervous system and other things. I mean, look at psilocybin, for God's sake. We're going to be using it as an antidepressant very soon, or they'll change one hydrogen atom so that they can patent it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. It's coming. But I'll Scott, will you write that one down? Sure. Let me Google spore-based probiotics. I've never seen any data on that at all, either positive or negative. Who's selling that? I mean, I have not heard of that.
Well, I have one at home. It was recommended by the internet, but for like women's health issues, like trying to fix like PCOS and stuff, trying to rebalance the gut for that.
So how would you know if it actually helps? You would do a double-blind placebo-controlled study, right? You define your endpoint. So what's your thing? Is it, you have PMS or something? Let's just say it's PMS. First off, you've got to be able to measure PMS. How do we measure that? Well, I don't know. I feel miserable, so maybe we could do a quality of life scale.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're pretty descriptive when it comes to that.
Well, that's fine, but you got to have have a way to validate that. Yep. You just can't say, well, I felt better. To do a scientific study, you've got to have a validated instrument. So you might do health-related quality of life or abdominal pain or mood. There's different mood questionnaires, stuff like that. And then you give 1,000 people this whatever, and then 1,000 people a placebo, and nobody knows which is which. And at the very end of the study, you do your validated instrument based on your endpoint that you've chosen. Now, that drug may be making a really beneficial change in something you're not studying. That's how Viagra happened, right? They were studying it for pulmonary hypertension, and these guys just got a whole bunch of raging boners. And then they had to go back and redo the studies with that as the endpoint because they couldn't use that. Well, anyway, so you look at your endpoint. Can we demonstrate that PMS is improved with taking this, and then that there's a statistically significant difference? If you can, then you can make that claim. Otherwise, it's just bullshit, or it's anecdotal. If you have 300 people on your website say, well, this made me feel better, that's 300 pieces of anecdotal evidence. It doesn't add up to being something generalizable. Because I could have 10,000. We've talked about this before. If I send out 1,000 pills and I get 50 people say it was great because the placebo effect is, 50 out of 1,000, and I get 950 people say this stuff's bullshit, didn't do anything, well, I just post the 50 on my website, and it's page after page after page of testimonials saying this stuff's great, So you can't rely on that. So anyway, so that's we'll look into that. Very easy to do is see if there's studies that have been published on using, actual fungal spores as a probiotic. Mm-hmm. So, okay. All right. You had another one?
That was all of them.
Okay, there was another one.
Where?
Down at the bottom.
Oh. That was a long fellow. Viagra.
My husband, no, look at Barb Parrish.
Oh, Barb.
My husband does a lot of hiking and gets altitude sickness a lot. He's in shape, but sometimes can't go as high as the others. What's up with that?
I'm doing a 3-minute thing.
Start the timer on this part.
Start the timer.
This is a different part of the show. I mean, you can do the 3-minute if you want to. That's fine. Okay, well, we'll just see. But, that's just natural variation in people. And there are medications that you can take for altitude sickness as well. So he may want to talk to his primary care about that. But it's just everybody's different.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just hydration, simple hydration.
Could be, and could be genetic.
Yeah, it could be genetic, yep. Could be he's not in great shape.
Well, she says he is in great shape, but he may not be in great shape for that.
Yeah, every day, yeah.
We all have different things. That's what keeps one thing from wiping us all out.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Any other ones?
That was good.
I think you're missing something, Scott. I'm finding other things here.
Yeah, Scott.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I see the Viagra and hypertension.
Says here,
we covered it.
I'll have you know, Dr. Scott, this is from Diesel Child, that I just applied my normal morning 3 blasts per nostril of the world's best CBD nasal spray.
Well, there you go.
My schnoz feels awesome. Now, how could you miss that?
Maybe because I was typing the notes of the show, possibly.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's okay. Here's one.
Well, thank you, Diesel
Live
Child.
Ween, I was about to take my wife to test for sleeping with the pool cleaner, but you have granted me much-needed perspective. What the hell is that? It's just part of the maintenance package. Okay, well, they're having a side conversation about Live Ween's wife having a dalliance with the pool cleaner. And I'm assuming it's not the robot pool cleaner with the vacuum and stuff. It's
still
actually
the greatest invention
ever.
It's a person. I'm telling you.
Anyway.
I love my pool
All right,
cleaner.
we got anything else? All right. Thanks. Always go to Dr. Scott. Thanks, Tacie, the timekeeper.
That's right.
Thanks to Raine. Hey, and enjoyed having you here. So we're going to put you in rotation. You want to plug anything? You're a comic. Mm-hmm. You've been doing comedy for 2 years, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're local to this area, come check out the Blue Ridge Comedy Club.
Okay, very
Same
good.
thing.
We usually don't tell people where we are, but that's fine.
Well.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We had Mark Normand there, and when I say we, it was a joint, venture, and between ETN Comedy and Blue Ridge Comedy Club, and that was an amazing event, and I really liked the club. It's small, it's intimate, but I love what they did in there. It's really just a cool vibe in there. Mm-hmm. It was very nice, and Mark was extremely impressed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And he did 2 killer shows.
Yeah, he was only going to do one. He sold out the first one in 5 minutes, and then the owner, Sean, added another one. It sold out in like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And there were still people coming going, can I get in? Can I get in?
Oh, yeah.
So we've got some others that we're going to bring down too. So, and they do a competition there that's like the funniest fucker in the Tri-Cities that we did a million years ago.
It'll be like Blue Ridge's funniest or Bristol's funniest.
Well, we might be able to get Shuley to do that if you look up there, the new comedian showcase over your right shoulder. There's faces there that that have done comedy in your club. One of them being Brian Morton, and the other one Jennifer McKinney. But anyway, we did an American Idol style show.
Yeah.
And I knew Shuley would be really good at just wrangling comedians, particularly if they were weirdos, which in this area, if you're trying to do stand-up comedy, they were probably going to be. Yep. And he was great at it. He was so good. And he was sort of the Ryan Seacrest, and then Tacie and I, and then Mike Milhorn were the judges. And Shuley just kept fucking with Mike Milhorn the whole time.
It was
just claiming
amazing.
And for all the people out there that say Shuley isn't funny, I'm just going to say this right now. He did 20, 30 minutes after the show, after the competition was done, he said, "Y'all want to hear more comedy?" And people were like, "Yeah, you know." And it was it was packed way over the fire marshal. I think we were supposed to have 175 in there. We had like 230. It was just packed, truly standing room only. People were freaking out. He got us. Well, a lot of people were already standing already, but there were people in seats. He got a standing ovation at the end that would not stop until he left the stage.
Wow.
We had to actually just go to the green room, which was in that place where we had it was just a place where they stored plates. It was the most cringy green room I've ever put a comedian in. But anyway. But were you at that, Scott?
Yeah.
That was amazing. It was really a great event. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for being here. And
thank you.
You want to plug your Instagram or anything?
I'm okay.
Okay, fair. That's when they say, "Hey, Dr. Steve, you want to plug your show?" It's like, nah, nobody wants to. Nobody cares. All right, very good. Well, maybe what we'll do sometime when you open for somebody, we'll critique you on the show.
Love that.
Okay,
that'd
be fun. That'd be fun to do. All right, my friends. Thanks to everyone who's made this show happen over the years. Listen to our SiriusXM show on the Faction Talk channel. SiriusXM channel 103, Saturdays at 7, Sunday at 6, on demand, and other times at Jim McClure's pleasure. Those are Eastern times, by the way. But really, listen to it on demand. Many thanks to our listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to our website, drsteve.com, for schedules, podcasts, and other crap. Follow our show, Instagram, @WeirdMedicine. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps. Quit smoking, get off your asses, get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.